The following is a fan-made production. Darkest Dungeon is owned by Red Hook Studios. All assets used are the property of their respective owners. Please support the official release.
I saw the eye. The eye, the eyes, the eye! Gods of light, the eye! And I cannot rest. They are watching. I see them in windows and peering around the corners of mirrors. I can hear the susurrus of their regard, caressing my skin. The hair on my arms raising as they rake me with their awful gaze. Light blind them! Blind my heart and soul to their presence. Gods! I found it beneath their altars, tore it from the book with palsied fingers, and now I know what I must do. That last, terrible eye opens to behold me, and I will...
I had a pet bird once. It was a little thing, hardly bigger than the palm of my hand, but it grew and used to sing in the mornings. A hawk got it eventually. Never knew if it was a boy or a girl. Hadn't thought of it for years. There's something in the woods that looks like a bird. It's big and purple-black. It has 6 eyes. It steals like a magpie and smells like a sewer. I saw one of its children, and it made me think of my bird. It was an awful, squirming thing, trying to flap its wings, dropping bits of dead flesh. There was some kind of rotting fungus thing inside that ripped free and attacked Margaret after we killed the bird. Had to keep the dog from eating any of it. Seemed unhealthy. My girl is sick. We were hunting down those damned witches in the woods. It was another one of their fungus things. It had caught a stag, hollowed it all out. You could see the fungus moving around its eye sockets. It gored my dog. Now she's sick. She'll get better. The doctor says so. But it turns my stomach to think about the way that fungus split out of the body, lashed all around, spraying its taint everywhere. Makes me wonder what those witches see in all that foulness. Maybe I'll ask the last one before we kill her. Margaret's become too anxious, constantly looking around, saying that something's watching us. I told her that my girl would look out for any danger, but she didn't seem to believe me. We went in the woods again, found an abandoned tent and those feeble skeletons covered in sludge. Nothing to fear here. At least I thought so. Until I heard my girl squeal. She froze at place, eyes goggled, tongue stuck out. Right, I overlooked something at first, and when I spotted it, damn. I wanted to write, "The world turned white. The time stopped." Like something you read in the books. But I can't remember. I just looked there, and I saw nothing but that tent and lumps of slime all around. Margaret said it was an unbelievable thing. A flying eyeball bigger than a human head, and it kept us dazed as we're staring at each other. So no calls could make us move. I don't remember it, but something tells me that she's right.
The more I fight these beasts, the more human they seem. It's disconcerting. I'm certain they've adopted some of the tactics we use. I saw one of those little hook bastards ambush us the way Audrey does. They're learning, changing, or bringing things up we've never seen before. There was an even uglier version of one of those big horse-looking swine. I was face to face with it, and I blinked and it was gone. Don't know how something that big disappeared like that, but soon enough spears were raining down on us. It wasn't until Margaret lit him up with those flash powder discs of hers and we could pinpoint him and break his head open. They're acting too smart, they are. Like people. Like soldiers. The more I think on it, the more convinced I am that the swine are organising. You can tell by the way they move, the way they deploy themselves. Infantry to the fore, support units like their drummers, and those damnable skivers in the rear, and cavalry positioned to charge. Oh gods, they have cavalry. Not even just those centaur bastards, although they're bad enough, but actual bloody cavalry. There's some new types down there too. They have tridents and armor and these damn nets that make you easy prey for the others. They've been training together. It's obvious to any experienced warrior. We hack them to pieces all the same, but it's getting harder. I'm not sanguine about all this. I need to spend more time drilling the party in tactics. They're training. They're like us. Oh, what are we doing? With all my fretting about the swine organising, it's easy to forget about a real threat of the Warrens. That damnable ever-present filth. Every soldier would tell you the worst is a disease. I've been sicker down here than I've been in my life. The foreign plagues I saw on my campaigns were nothing compared to this. Worms and fungal growths and parasites of every description. Willam found something in the muck, slurping in a stream of gore, draining away from a pile of bodies, and it lunged up at him. It was a leech the size of a dog with a beard of horrible sucking mouths. I swear it was pumping him full of something as it drank his blood. Alhazred managed to hack it off and we put it down, but I don't know what it did to Willam. He's eating an awful lot now and there's a dull gleam in his eyes like the pigs get. Ooh, I don't like it. Well, I've always said, one day these bubbles will betray us. There was a reaver, a skiver, and something like an overgrown insect. But do they have a large eye sitting solely on its head? And where was the power of some relic when we got skewered like roasted meat, eh? Poor Alhazred. First a javelin nails him to the ground, then a butcher's knife nearly opens him out. War shooted him from further threat, but I forgot about that flying wretch. Its gaze stung worse than the hottest flames, and we heard 1,000 bells tingling in our heads. I couldn't look back. Couldn't imagine how my brother would lose this battle. But Alhazred recited his ritual and his injuries were gone for good. The battle was over, but I couldn't stop thinking about that thing which has no place in the Warrens, or in the rest of the world.
My asceticisms have worked against me for once. I don't see it as a burden to abstain from the corrupted juice of the grape, but my art provides me other means of expanding the mind. The fumes of incense are much more to my taste. However potent my head and heart are in dealing with those influences, it has not prepared my body for the grosser assaults. We had just completed our task lighting the wards when we were ambushed by a pack of the living dead, piratical beasts whose inhuman form had not lessened their human vices. One forced his putrid bottle into my mouth and poured me full of the burning liquid within. Willam beat him away and I spewed most of it back out. The world seemed to reel around me. A disgusting experience I do not intend to repeat. Two days out on this expedition, and only one protective ward activated so far. Morale low, supplies low, but Margaret scouted out the den of brigands, and we appropriated their fire and food after sending them to their reward. She's changing. We all are. I saw a man by the sea. Well, he looked like a man. Something about his face, the way he held himself, despite the horrible whiskers and spines covering his face. I could see the pleading in his eyes as he attacked. Barristan beat him to the ground, and I took it upon myself to slit his throat. I think he was thankful, but how many more are like him? The swine, the other fishmen, the siren who calls endlessly to the sea. How many more of the creatures I have slain were once men? The sea might as well be the other world, for all the monstrous variation of life within it. We found something out in the cove. It was flapping around above the ground. A thing like a sea ray, but equipped with tentacles and a dreadful sting. Its brain was encased in a transparent bubble, and I could see it twitch as it attacked us. Whether it had a true mind, or it was simply urged on by the sea folk, I do not know. We slew it all the same. Makes me wonder what a visitor from the far reaches would think. Do they react to our realm and appearance as we do theirs? Perhaps their apparent malice is merely unreasoning terror. I wish I could believe that, but I know better. I cannot stay unimpressed about the variety of assaults the ancient things use on us. The forms they take, the curses they cast, the fear they induce. We saw it among the sea folk. It was nothing I had seen before, and nothing I would like to see again. It attempted to mimic some existing life form, but its vile eye gave it away. One drowned mariner was dealt with, the other merely vanished, along with the thing from the other world. Yet there could be no relief. A gnarly grimace spawned in front of me, and soon I heard that sickening old tune. I couldn't reach him in where the baleful eye had placed him. All I could do was wait. Margaret's skeet shots proved to be unexpectedly useful against the unexplainable. The spore of the greater eye was gone, but how many of them were still here, following us, waiting to leave us useless and exposed? I couldn't know or even fathom the scope of horror that it left me with.
Among these walking bones and living stones, it's hard to remember what's supposed to stay dead and still when you attack it. Now I've learned to fire my musket at everything, even if it happens to be a waste. Something was hanging off the ceiling in the sewer in the ruins. Willam told me to ignore it, but my fingers pulled the trigger by themselves. I think I start understanding what Dismas meant to say. It was none of them undead. It was a living, breathing, twitching bat, and it screamed at me senseless when I wounded it. I could feel the blood drip from my ears and its shrill yelp echo in my head till the next day. Maybe I should have listened to Willam. Maybe we could have even walked past it as it was sleeping, after we had slain the cultists. I would check it the next time, unless I can't hold my new reflex back again. I read once about a church with a statue that would cry tears of blood, healing those who touched them. My patron is St. Gilbert. Today I saw his statue in the ruins. Black tar was pouring slowly from his mouth, like water from a fountain. It was hard to see the features beneath the age and rot. The pool of tar and black water at his feet groped for us like hands. I remember firing my musket and watching the balls make marks in his stony robe. I saw his wings rising, something move in the darkness, and I remember the holy terror of the blasphemy I was about to commit. Is it blasphemous to shatter a sacred thing that's been tainted? When I pulled the trigger and saw the ball crush the face of my saint, when I looked up at that broken head dripping with filth, I felt something so intense that I fell to my knees. I saw the flowers. Everyone keeps telling me that flowers don't fly or grow a hollow eye on their stamens, but I could have sworn these were the flowers blooming among the dead walls. When we met the cultists, they brought the flowers with them. These things shot thorns at us, and our wounds bled for dangerously long. Their pollen had an invigorating effect, but only on our foes. The witch lifted her staff, choosing me for her ritual, and it was followed by pain. Not the same kind you would feel from claws, teeth, or bullets. It cut my soul deep and exposed it to the strange realm, where the walls collapsed, the sky lost the familiar colour, and no living thing was around. But only an evil eye glared into me. I heard my own scream, echoing and distorted, and a rushed shot. I was back in the ruins. The cultists' bodies were lying still, but no stem or petal was left around. I don't know why she did it. I came to this horrid land to hunt, to hone my skills and buy a modicum of peace from my failures. I'd never killed a human before. Now there are piles of bodies behind me, and sometimes I can't sleep for the smell of blood in my nostrils. Tormenting, maddening. She was just a grave robber, just a looter. I don't know why she fought us, but I put a musket ball between her eyes just the same. There was an artful spray of crimson, a sort of strange gasp as the air left her lungs, and her body just buckled. I watched the knife in her hand bounce and rattle on the stones. I think I'm starting to like this. Maybe that's the only way to stay sane in this hell.